severe thunderstorms, but I also heard, yesterday I heard they were talking about hail.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still on or not.
Yeah, I've heard on the radio this morning they were saying something about
I did get another rain last night.
Well, that's what Ray was saying.
at least golf ball size hail.
Ooh.
I was expecting the next round to be baseball size.
Took over for
Ball got large enough insurance bills as it is.
That's where they always sat.
I don't know.
I
Do
mean,
the highway
second
people do
next to,
anything different when they hear
Last
about
time. Now I
these
know
kinds
that
of
you
things?
should probably be aware, but
I think so, right? Right. Yeah, not exactly the same.
they were
Severe situations.
Looking for one of them?
closing schools.
Then take the lead on it.
I mean,
Same way.
getting out at 1 o'clock to be in the storm.
There's going to be
Well,
some.
now you're gonna send these
I
kids.
might worry about flooding, so
Yes, that is a direct correlation of all the.
he may be,
But
but
where are these kids gonna go?
I can see what's on his name tag.
Because you're gonna be at home by yourself.
Wrong angle.
I mean, but, and then those after-school activities, so even when school's out,
They're sitting down
so
at
if
their
they have
desk to
after-
your left.
these kids are on the loose.
Too, that all that with
I
cameras.
mean, I don't know.
Okay, can we come to order? This is the Washington Area Highway Transportation Committee. It is Monday, April 27th, 2026. Could I have a roll call, please?
Craig Miller,
Here.
Wendell Eckelkamp, Jordan Dalveras,
Here.
Ray Frankenberg,
Here.
Bob Ingeman,
Here.
Bill Stratman,
Here.
Mayor Hagedorn,
Here.
Steve Solentrop,
Here.
Sandy Lucy,
Here,
Albie Eckelkamp, Kurt Understall, Mark Wessels,
Here.
Jeff Niemeyer, Charles Tankovic, Darren Lamb.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, all. Good morning.
morning.
Nice crowd. Got a big group today. Approval of minutes. First thing on the agenda. Gina?
So move.
Anybody have a motion to approve them as presented? I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Sorry I missed the last meeting. I had some things I had to get done with, but anyway, everything turned out well with my reasons for not being here.
Good.
So, I missed it. I missed the meeting. I missed being here.
It was fabulous. You should
It
have
was
seen them.
fabulous,
They were
right?
awesome.
Ray and I thank you.
Record time, though, we might add.
I told him not to tell you that, but that's,
Nobody to say, speak louder into the microphone or something. Okay. First item, Amtrak. Let's start out with that one.
We had our Moorpack Rail Advisory Committee meeting recently. Brian Ross, who's with MoDOT, had his top 3 things to talk about, probably in order of or backwards order of importance. First being their operations budget that they had proposed is passed through the Senate and the House, so it's looking good for funding for this upcoming year. There's some discussion, obviously, going forward as the state budget tightens up, that those approvals might be more and more difficult as we look forward into coming funding years. Corridor ID projects. This is Federal Rail Authority looking out and trying to fund projects that would help expand passenger rail. One of the projects with service from the Illinois side into Hannibal, which would connect some of our Missouri trains. That approval, or pardon me, that FRA application's been submitted and they're getting some positive response. So the next step on that would be doing some additional study work. And they are looking into funding for that because that's a 90-10 federal versus state funding, and they don't yet have a funding source set up for that within our Moorpack group. But the good news is we have a good team working on that, so they are starting in advance to try to figure out if they move in, are approved and move into that study phase where that budget is going to come from. So they're working on that. Probably the most important thing that he had to reveal to us, and there should be press releases coming out on this today, is that we talked a lot about the World Cup month this summer and that 3rd round trip. After a lot of discussion between the UP folks and the Amtrak folks and the state folks, they've decided that they don't think that they can come up with a way to make that work. It's a lot of scheduling and a lot of staffing and a lot of different things. So despite the fact that they had some money set aside for it, after all their meetings, they are not going to be able to get that third train to come to a reality. So what they've decided to do during that time frame is add additional capacity. So we'll see trains that are coming through with additional cars on them. So for that, I think 5-week period during that World Cup, while the schedule should remain relatively the same, there should be increased capacity for passengers that want to use that mode of travel. And yeah, they're supposed to do, I was actually calling Keena this morning. I'm like, I don't want to be the one to tell everybody this. And, you know, they start calling your office, and she said they're doing press releases stuff today. And they've already been receiving a bunch of calls on that. Katie Novak, who's with Union Pacific, talked additionally about that. She said that third round trip isn't necessarily off the table. They certainly weren't able to make it work in this time frame, but Union Pacific was committed and Amtrak committed to also thinking about that in the future if that's something that is A, funded, and B, a desire and a need. So it's not something that is gone for good, but this would have been a great opportunity to really showcase that probably. But so that's unfortunate. Amtrak spoke about ridership. I think I sent or had Gina send to the group updated ridership numbers, which we've been waiting on for a long time. But they show really good numbers. March had almost 19,000 passengers. So far this fiscal year, we've got 152,000 passengers, and the goal is 210,000 passengers for the year. So that's a lot of increased travel and people using that service. So they're up 3.64 million in revenue and up 6% in ridership. And they say a lot of that is double-digit increases since they made that through train from Chicago, one of our trips. Lots of increased traffic from that Illinois and Chicago area, which is great news because that is real out-of-state dollars coming here and spending money, so that's a good thing. And the last thing was on the marketing side. Lexi Phelps, who's our new tourism director here in town, went with a tourism director from Herman, who was at the meeting in person. I was virtual for that one. But they talked a lot about marketing. It was a good opportunity for her, which is good because I think she'll certainly be a good asset for us going forward. They're going to come to all of the train stations and do some updated photography. So they're going to kind of visit our station sometime. I think they put us toward the end of the list because they have actually pretty good information about our station and good pictures, but they're going to do a lot of things about trains arriving, things like that, and do some increased marketing presence for not just our station, but all the stations along the route. I think that was most of what they talked about at the meeting. Got any questions, I'll take them.
Oh, fantastic.
Craig, was there any conversation about when there is a problem on a railroad? You know how they normally have Mid-America come down and take the people and pick them up and take them wherever they got to go. I mean, I'm just saying this is a rumor, but I heard that Mid-America was sold and they're moving to St. Louis. Was there any conversation on that?
They did not talk about Mid-America specifically. That is a kind of standard mode of operation. If there's a train issue of some sort, they are responsible for making sure they get those passengers to their destinations. No discussion about, Mid-America in particular, but I know they're still committed to getting travelers to where they need to go. Always a lot of discussion about delays between freight and passenger rail and things like that, which that conversation has been really good lately. Union Pacific and Amtrak have been working together, and those on-time performances have gotten a lot better over the course of the last year, which is positive, and less usage of alternative modes of transportation to get people from here to there, but not Mid-America specifically.
You hear anything about that?
I didn't, but
Okay, thank you for the report. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll move on. Missouri River Bridge access flood mitigation. There you go, Charles.
So we had our meeting with the Corps last week to kind of go over some different grant and funding options that they have if we want to take this to a further study of what we can do on the other side of the river there. So they laid out a couple different options. So we went, and this initial study is what they call the FPMS, Floodplain Management Services. Beyond that, they have like three main funding sources. One is the general investigations. That's kind of their biggest, broadest one. It would cover a study. It would also cover into design and construction. It's like a 50-50 split on the design. It's a 65-35 split for design and construction. The issue with that one is it's got to be congressionally authorized, which can take a while. I guess that's like every 2 to 3 years. So you're kind of applying, you're waiting for a little bit, and then after that, it's probably 3 years of at least of a study, and that one could take a little bit of time. And then the biggest problem though would be there needs to be a major economic impact within the scope of the project. So not in Washington, it has to be in the area that the project is at. So if we're talking about a causeway and a levee on the other side of the river in the farmlands, it's got to be there, not the hospital or our industrial park or something like that. So talking to them, they really thought we didn't have much of a chance of getting that, funding source. We could apply and try, but they really didn't think we had a good shot at it. The next one they have is called Continuing Authorities Program. That's kind of a similar thing. It doesn't take congressional authorization, but it does have a cap of 15 million. So for a project this large, probably not the right scope for that funding source. So that kind of leaves us with planning assistance for states, which they call PASS. But that one does not lead to construction or design. So it would just be for another study, kind of hone in on, exactly what we kind of want, analyzing what the impacts are. That one's a 50-50 split. They said the study would potentially take 2 to 3 years to do. They're guessing for a project like this, it'd probably be around 600,000, maybe at most, and it's a 50-50 split with the entity. So they really felt like if we want to utilize them to kind of hone in exactly what we want, do another kind of impact study, a further, more in-depth study, that would be the route to go. It can move kind of quickly as far as awarding that grant and project. So, and the Corps would run that and do the study and work with the city on that. Outside of that, like Ray had talked about last time, we can, go private for any of this. So I mean, we could immediately go and take what they got us from the FPMS study, take it to a private consultant, and kind of run the numbers, the modeling, see where we want to go from there, and go into full design privately or however we want to do that. It kind of depends on what our timeline is and how fast we're looking to move for this sort of thing. So,
If you take the third choice, which is the one they're recommending, then can you go back and then grab the second or the first one? I mean, because they
Yeah.
included construction.
yeah, this is just another study, and we can make it as detailed or not detailed as we want. I mean, it doesn't limit us. I mean, we could use this to then try and apply for a different one, or
I mean,
could still
the other
go-
ones aren't off the table if you
No.
take the third one.
no.
That's
It
interesting.
would be another good step if we're not, in too big of a rush to do this. I mean, this is gonna take a while anyways, but.
I've got some thoughts on
Yep.
that, so I'm going to go ahead and throw them out now. I think that right now we need to decide whether or not it is something that's in our long-term future. If the answer to that's yes, then that's a big thing for us to know, because then we can start doing some long-term stuff, so we can get the little things that might be cheaper or free to clarify what that future looks like. In other words, do we buy a whole bunch of rights across the river and start building the whole new highway between 44 and 70 and that type of stuff? That would be a way out in the future thing. And it would be a way of showing what he just said, I think twisting it to a positive. It needs to be a bigger benefit. And I'd say on the positive side, it is a bigger benefit. Okay, we look at Franklin County, we look at Warren County, we look at the big businesses we have that draw hundreds and thousands of employees from all over the region, and say this is a big regional thing, and say we're going to have it at least make the step that we can make right now, which is request maybe a little bit more study at little to no cost to us. it would be nice if it all came together and everybody said, oh, wow, we got this another 20 or 30,000 jobs moving in to right here, both sides of the river, the whole stretch. We'd figure out how to get it pretty quick, and it'd be nice to have that studying done rather than have those 20,000 jobs move to the south of St. Louis or the east of St. Louis, something like that. So being forward-looking, I'd say it's awesome that everybody's talking about it. Don't like really what they say right now because it doesn't give us a clear path to close money, but I think that we keep going down the path.
And I somewhat agree with what Ray, exactly what he's saying. You know, we're just gonna have to wait till the next flood. And, you know, this thing is on 30-year cycles. If you go back and look at the last 60 years, you can see the 30-year cycles. We're in the 30-year cycle right now. So do we wait until the flood water is, you know, closes our $75 million bridge because they didn't finish the job when they had the chance to move it and get it done? That's when it should have been considered. These studies are great, and we know that the studies have to be done. But for them to even spend $250,000 on the study and then say, oh, by the way, there's no chance in hell you're gonna ever get it. That just sounds to me like, where are they coming from? I mean, is that how you read it?
Well, it's, you know, whether this project gets funded by the Corps is one thing. I mean, I think they're just trying to help us get to the next steps, and that might be on, you know, like you said, this is regional. This isn't just the city trying to do this. It's gonna be MoDOT. This could be,
Yeah.
you know, Warren County, St. Charles County, you know, a bunch of different entities trying to come together, so.
Legislatively, guys from the legislature, John, how do we take this forward? I mean, I'm stymied by what I hear, and I guess I expected to see a train of thought that, you know, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. All we gotta do is this, get this done. And it seems like to me, I mean, they're telling us, you know, the chances are just too slim to even waste our time with it.
At the very least, I think they're, you know, telling us it's a process. It's gonna take some time, like Ray said. I mean, it's gonna take some more coordination now that we have this initial study, maybe reaching out to some different entities and trying to do some of the work beforehand.
Well, we'll just wait for the river to come up, and it will come up, and it'll be flood again, and then we'll start the whole process over again. I think we keep pushing it, and I don't think we can just lay down and say, hey, we gotta have some better information or something that gives us a better outlook than what you're considering, what you've got so far.
Charles, that third one, that study, that further study you were talking about, what would that add to the study that we've just completed?
So we could really look at, you know, there was 4 alternatives, kind of just the initial impacts. We could pick one or two, we could pick one. Like if we pick the one where, you know, we're looking at trying to protect the airport with a levee and kind of a causeway connecting it. What are the true extents of that levee? What is that gonna look like? Get
So
into the
we'd be
details.
looking into an alternative further and more
Right, and really
specific.
trying to hone in on some of the details. What are the impacts? Where do we go from there? Kind of giving us more direction,
All
I
right.
think.
Charles, does that third study include some sort of economic work? I'm trying to see if this third study would help our economic argument to go back to that first sort of funding to say, oh, this is, you know, this could create a much larger regional, either industrial area or somehow that transportation, you know, does that third study look at other impacts other than, I guess, the environmental ones to try to make that argument?
Yeah, I didn't go into, I guess, the specifics with them on that, but I can go back to them and see. Potentially, I think we could look at that, though.
Yeah, it just sounds like that's the argument we need to make to get that larger source of funding. And so if that's included in that, because $600,000 or half of that isn't chump change, you know, I just want to make sure if we're looking at that to say, yes, I want to move down the path forward, but I'd be curious to see if it can help us with that argument on the larger funding source.
I'm going to chime in on that too. That's exactly where I was headed. I've got a lot of background and experience in floodplains, and it isn't just that I grew up there and lived there and farmed there and all that type of stuff. I was the state floodplain manager, the head of our society, the Missouri Floodplain and Stormwater Managers Association. I've traveled all over the country getting permits to change floodways and floodplains in order to cross them, build in them, et cetera. Right now, more money spent on design is useless, okay, in my opinion.
Right.
We can cross that river, we can do everything to it, we can handle even the biggest river in this continent. You know, we can handle that and do that. What we need to do is focus on everybody seeing that the economic impact of both sides of that river being able to work together all the time and not just be shut down for weeks or months when there's a flood, but all the time. I think that's the next step. They left it open. They didn't say there's no chance in hell. They said there's a small chance today. Let's increase that chance by showing the economic impact.
I think we need to improve take to the next level our communication with the folks north of the river too, over in Warrenton, because that meat packing plant, you guys, I don't know if you know it, but their trucks full of cows come on Highway 47 all the time.
And the cars of people probably come from this side of the river and
Yep.
head that way as well.
Yep.
So
Is Joe here? Yeah, you're here. We'll be talking, man.
I think it's exciting that we are still talking about it. I think we keep talking about it every month, and I think this point we push that impact, that not the environmental impact. We're not gonna hurt the bugs and the critters and all that type of stuff. We're gonna take care of them. We know that. That's what we do in our country. Let's figure out where that money come from and let everybody know what that impact is to our children and our grandchildren.
Yeah, I thought we presented that for the last 20 years, that we need. But we're to have it.
Yeah, I think the need needs to be enhanced.
You're right,
because
you're right.
what's gonna happen if I'm against it? Okay, well, I stand there and talk about floodplains, and I've had a lot of people stand up and tell me the other side of the story, so I have to be able to visualize that side of the story. And what it is so you people stay home for 2 weeks when it floods, and then we open up the highways and everybody goes back to work and we forget about it for the next 10 years. So I think now we concentrate on the benefit of always having those two huge sides, the north side of the world and the south side of the world, able to communicate.
And we can't wait till the next flood occurs. We can't wait for that to happen. I mean, it's easy to say, well, we should have done this, but now is when we've got to keep it going. And
Get the
that's-
momentum, right?
I agree.
So-
We can't let it stop. We can't let go. We got the bone in the dog's mouth. We're not gonna let go of it. It's our choice. If we let go of it, this committee, whatever, it's done, as far as I'm concerned. We'll never see it. We'll never see it. We'll never see it till the flood. But if we get a flood year and it closes down, people feel the pinch, then they'll say, why didn't we do something? That's where I'm at. Charles, and we have to rely on what you're thinking, I guess, is engineering-wise, and Ray, how to go to the next step.
Yeah, engineering-wise, we're there. That's what I'm trying to say. We're there. We know we can do it. We've shown 4 different plans that'll make it work, and I can tell you there's 10 more
Yep.
that we can come up with. Coming up with more isn't gonna be fair to the population until we say, hey, this is an economic issue. Nobody's gonna come in and say, hey, we'd like to give you $200 million to fix something until we show them what it is they're fixing, and I think that has to be an economic thing with votes behind it. So,
Yeah,
we can keep talking engineering, I love that, and I understand the floods and the environment and all that type of stuff. What I'm not great at is going out and getting $200 million to tie these billions of dollars of money that's going on both sides of the river together.
Yeah, it sounds like we're talking here on this side, but are they talking on the north side, and we
Well,
gotta,
they will be if we call them.
right, we gotta get everyone together and
Yeah, I
get
think
them
they
talking
are.
about it.
And I think
push
their
forward.
presence at our meetings, transportation, the severity of this is, it's important to the county of Warren also. I mean, that's pretty evident. You guys don't show up just to be here. I mean, you're here to try to get this situation handled, across the river.
I think everybody needs to be on the table.
Everybody does.
Amen,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes. Yes. So,
So then we go with the third
Um,
option?
I think we've got a lot of industries on both sides of the river that would put somebody at that table with us if we asked.
yeah, the commission, if it needs a presentation before the commission, the highway commission, any ideas from you guys? Would that help?
We could have some conversations.
I can get on the agenda. I mean, they know who I am. I've been on it, done it a couple of times before.
Sure.
And then just present our what we think and how important it is to this community. And if we could have people behind me show up at a presentation like that, that would carry some weight. That's how I'm looking at it. So, just,
So are we gonna do one of these or not? Are we just gonna go out on our own? Are we gonna do the third option? Are we gonna pick one of those, or are we just gonna go out on our own and try to
My
rally?
recommendation would be we don't take design any further at this point
Okay.
until we have that
So
economic
we're gonna
impact
first
further.
start doing
So
the,
that's gonna be reaching out and getting us together,
Okay.
and then there would be much more power if we met with MoDOT's commission as a group of employers with thousands and thousands of employees. And then a group of political entities with thousands and thousands of residents and voters and so forth. The bigger it gets, it now has to be political and economic. It can't just be engineering.
no,
Okay.
because that, we've got that answered, and it's this, that.
Yeah, I mean, we know it. We can predict it. The computers have gotten to a point right now, for every drop of water that falls in the whole entire watershed can be tracked right past Washington, Missouri, and we understand how to do that. So we don't need to invent anything new there. What we need to do is come up with the economic impact, the political impact, the growth impact, the family impact. I want my grandchildren to be able to live and grow here. I say that a lot, don't I?
More work to do, buddy.
Yes, got it. I'll start presenting it to the state, at the state level. And those people are friends of ours. They're friends of Washington. They like Washington. They like coming here. That may be the next step, to see if we can't get on the agenda there and then show up in mass. Show up with 25, 30 people at a commission meeting. That to me would be a sign that we're serious. I mean, we've done all the waiting and all the studying that can be done on that situation. You know, they held off. This was promised us 35 years ago in a study that I still got. I didn't let go of it, of what was supposed to, monies from a tax issue. It's still, they're on the hook for it, I think. And it's a way of reminding them, guys, you promised us this. You promised us we couldn't have it, get it, the bridge, we couldn't do this thing across the river because we didn't know where the new bridge was gonna go. So, we got together and we built the new bridge. We kids saved pennies, made an impact right here, wheelbarrows full of pennies, and we got a $75 million, whatever it was, bridge. So now we got the bridge, but the bridge, we didn't get the other half of it. The bridge is great, but it still floods. We still can't do it, it's not, but they held off, everything was held, they were able to put it off because we didn't know where the location was gonna be over the new bridge. So that way we couldn't do anything on the other side. So then we found the location as well. We're gonna tear the other one down and put in a new, millions of dollars bridge. And now the next step is to take it, why do we put the bridge in at all? Why don't we just leave the old bridge till it fell in the river, whatever? It's time to take it to the next level, and it has to be political, I'm thinking, and because we can't do it ourselves. We don't have the monies to do it. It has to be political money. So, that's, I don't know whether I've summarized it as best it can be, but I won't let go of the bone. And I hope we don't either. So, we'll take it to the next level. And Charles, anything you can do to, help me out with, getting the information that I need to carry with me, or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll keep it going. So, thank you for your efforts. Yeah. All right, that's it. Any comments? Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll move on. wait for the river to come up. Franklin County Transportation Committee. Get that one.
Do you want to talk about 47, Bill?
Talk about 47, yeah. What good is 47 when you can't?
We'll keep talking 47. Yeah, we'll talk about South 47 instead. Yeah. So with that, of course, as we're looking into our future project for fiscal year 28, also going to be calendar year 28. So as we work towards that, currently at this time, we're still working with the consultant on that conceptual study, kind of going back and forth with comments. We're hoping to have that next iteration of that to review internally very soon, hopefully, I guess, in the next couple weeks. So we'll begin reviewing that again. Hopefully, not too many more comments. We'll see what happens as we wrap that up. At the same time that we're working on that, we're trying to get H&TB under contract as we move forward into the design phase. So with that, the next kind of big thing that everybody will start seeing is a lot of surveying out on the field. So if you're seeing a bunch of surveying crews and everything, there's still a lot of data to collect as they're working towards that design of everything. So be careful of those crews. Of course, they'll have work zone signs and everything as needed, but that'll be the next big step to get a lot of surveying done. And after that, we will, of course, move into more public outreach and everything. So we will have another CAG meeting, so that community advisory group. We will be gathering again to discuss more and further. And then following that, just the same way, we will have more public meetings. So throughout this next set of process with the project, we will have a public meeting coming hopefully this summer, maybe late summer. And then after that, we will eventually, before we move into final plans, we will have more of like a public hearing. So it's kind of the same as the public meeting, but we'll just call it a public hearing instead. So a lot more public outreach, and we are trying to get together a newsletter because it has been a little bit since people have heard from us, but we're going to get a newsletter together. That way everybody can see and read, of course, everything that we've kind of been working on. So that way nobody forgets that, you know, we're still working on this. It's not a real quick process. It's a long process as we dive deep into it.
Any comments? Keep plugging away.
Yep.
That's a major highway coming in and out of this town.
Yes.
And this area, very important.
And we're still trying to.
We get it right.
Yep, we're still trying to grow the project as best we can, and same way, we're looking for funding everywhere we can, and even up until construction, we're going to still look for it. So,
Any comments? Moving on. Franklin County Transportation Committee?
Not much of an update from the committee, other than they got the annual Franklin County grants. Applications are due at the end of June, so that's it for Franklin County.
Just to give you a little background, we were, when we wanted to get something done that was it the highway or we had a committee, a Franklin County committee, that actually helped support our bridge. The committees, all the towns or whatever that had projects said, okay, we'll let Washington have that project.
Have all the funds that year.
All the funds, so that VODOT had to fund one project. So that everybody worked together, all the different communities said, okay, let's do that so that we can get this new multi-million-dollar bridge in Washington. And then when the funding, when some of the funding came down the pike, that same group let us have one project so we could submit it, and we got like what the hell was it? $500,000? $500,000, Darren? $500,000. We got $500,000 to help build a new bridge. That was from Washington. The group of communities let that one, was $250, and I think Warren County gave us $50, right? I think it was $800,000, that we laid on the table with MoDOT and said, okay, guys, we're serious about getting this bridge thing done. And I think that pushed it over the edge. That got them, that's how we got the bridge. And I think, I hope, I don't know the process of how this thing with the one across the river is gonna work out, but it's gonna be something like that. We gotta all work together to make this thing happen. We can't just let it die. We can't wait for the river to come up and everybody says, well, why did you put in this multi-million-dollar bridge if it floods the same way it did 100 years ago? So, I think we got a good argument. And the county and Warren County has participated with us along the way, so, they're on our side, so. Anyway, thank you. Anything else?
No, I'll stay for the next one, though.
50/50
So our 50/50 MoDOT grant for Highway 47, we were awarded the 50/50 grant. We're still working on the kind of final contract with MoDOT here. Probably have that in the next month or so. And then here in May, we should be hearing back on our STP application from East West Gateway. Hopefully they'll make recommendations here in May, and hopefully we'll be on that list, so.
Well, I think you guys are using the same process that I just talked about, aren't you?
That's right.
Zeroing down to one project?
All the communities coming together and letting
That's
us
it.
kind of put one
That's how it
in.
works. That's how you make it happen.
Regional impact. yeah.
Fantastic. All right, next item, MoDOT, Warren County. Anything, Joe? You're up.
Mr. Niemeyer not here this morning.
That's all right. You're
Actually,
good.
really, as far as MoDOT stuff, I-70, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So, it's going good, not bad. Just,
It's amazing what's going on up there. It's almost scary sometimes. See
It's
all
gonna
those
get
roads.
scarier. It's gonna get scarier, but
gonna get
that's all right. They're doing good, yeah.
Wow.
We're up under 100 days now, so that new overpass will be open right at 100 days, so we're getting closer.
That's kind of amazingly fast, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah, they're going
ready to Hit
good,
it hard then.
but, yeah,
And is
that's
that
the
the-
main issue
Is
going
that
on
the Highway
right now.
47 overpass?
I'm sorry,
Is that the Highway 47 overpass we're talking about? Yeah, that's what I thought.
that's that one, we get
So it's
two more.
interesting. They're building that great big intersection up there for 47, and the bridge is gonna shut, and it's gonna flood to get there. Anyway, that's beside the point.
That's right. All right, thanks.
I know, Joe, you're on our side, right? I know you are.
Well, I just think it's very key to get everybody at the table. It just can't be one entity.
Your opinion it's
Yeah.
gonna carry a lot of weight. Warren County is gonna be important, as we talk about getting the floodplain.
So,
taken care of.
absolutely.
So, yeah, all right.
Very good.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Washington Special Road District, anything? I guess nobody's actually presenting.
Nobody comes.
My little number shows up.
Yeah, okay, we'll have to just find who's gonna give us a presentation, or give us an update on the Washington Special Road District. Old Highway 100 Bridge, looks like it's gonna happen, huh?
It's going to happen. We're working on design, but otherwise, no other update for today.
Yep. Glad to have that bridge situation taken care of, or the slide, or whatever we call it. Looks like it's holding well.
Mhm.
Jim's not here, from the county, but it looks like it's gonna, be a resolution for it. It's important that roadway, the old roadway is very important, carries, it still has a valid use that has to be maintained. We gotta keep that old road there. That's beside the point. Airport.
We have in the packet some updated numbers for fuel sales and number of flights coming in. We are down just because the runway extension is kind of limiting the length of the runway there. So they're on track for finishing up by the end of May. So we're hoping get that thing wrapped up and kind of get the numbers back up and the fuel sales back up to where they were before, so.
So is the extension on the roadway is that being completed now?
That's what I'm saying. By the end of May is where they're on track to finish that extension and get it
And
up.
that ends the construction period of what you've got going, in immediate future, basically.
It's being built now.
Yeah, I know,
It'll
I'm
be
just
open.
saying, but after that project, there's nothing else on the,
As far as projects?
yeah.
We are looking at like a complete redo of the, replacement of the runway. Just some of the,
Yeah,
the condition of the runway, it's
that's
needing it. So we're in discussions with MoDOT on, you know, future, applications for funding for those projects, so
Well, keep
that's on
that,
the
keep
horizon.
that project and keep me informed, so that if and when I make a presentation, that is part of it.
Okay.
That we have a plan that needs to also get that out of the floodplain, that's important, so.
Yeah.
That may be one of the key areas that will help us get that out of the floodplain, is the airport, I think.
Agree.
And we gotta utilize the benefit that it is in the floodplain.
How thick is it?
Take advantage of it.
Big, 8 inches?
Do they have there were economic studies put out periodically through the time when we were managing the airport. Is there a more recent one of those that we can kind of refer to and be talking about?
Yeah, that's great, Ray, that'd be.
I'll have to look into that.
I think those are always nice to be able to have a pamphlet with a few pages that anybody in the public can look at and say, oh, wow, I didn't know that much was going through the airport or down the railroad or all this type of stuff. But
If we don't, we can look at, you
Yeah.
know, what it would
Yeah.
take to get one, so.
Great idea, yeah.
yeah, it was a statewide thing that somehow was, I think the FAA was funding.
The
so you could
FAA
probably- yeah,
put together
yeah.
or funded, okay.
I think this fuel tracking, you just started giving us this last couple of months. Very interesting how many planes are actually landing there and fueling. Are you guys open like 24 hours a day?
Mhm.
As far as somebody there in the States?
And someone's not always there, but they're, you know, can be on call or, you know.
It's
they
always
can-
been
they
an
can
on-call,
man.
so there's always a room open that has a payphone in it. I don't even know what a payphone looks like nowadays, but they would have a phone number in there they could call, and we would always have somebody run out to fuel them up and make sure they were taken care of
So
if they needed
basically
a
it
car.
is-
and- Yeah,
it is-
yeah.
it is
We've done a real good job of taking care of the commerce and the economic impact, I think, over the last 40 years. So it's been a benefit to Washington.
See, I didn't even know that. I knew I didn't realize somebody was there on call basically for 24 hours a day to help manage and to refuel. That's, I didn't know that.
Kevin.
Got it now. Get us a report. No, but it is amazing how much fuel is going through there. I just, you're talking about in gallons or our income gallons, 7,000 gallons in, what, 4 months? It's a lot of fuel. It's a lot. Maybe it isn't, maybe it isn't, but, interesting, this is interesting. I hope you can continue to keep that.
Yeah, we'll keep that going for you.
Yeah, and the flight numbers too, the number of flights that go through there on during the course of a year. And it obviously is increasing, so. Anyway, yes, very important that we get that information, keep it current. And it is worth doing, keeping up those, knowing that information. Not that I want to change the subject, but the transportation sales taxes and our two issues, the fact that they passed resoundingly was great.
Pretty exciting.
Sandy, we thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that.
I had a great team. I had a great team. It wasn't just me.
I think it's that first time we passed it, I think we passed it by 200 votes.
Yeah, the first time that, I mean, it's on the agenda down below here,
Oh, I see.
so, I don't know if we want to talk about that, but the first
Yeah.
time we passed it, it passed by four points. It was 54%. So, and now it was 68, which means that our citizens were skeptical at first.
Yes, they were.
They were very skeptical. MoDOT should pay for that. And then, that's not, we shouldn't be spending our money outside the city.
Still the case.
And, I mean, and they would tell you that. I'm not voting for that because we shouldn't. So it was kind of like, we were a little nervous when we went to the polls and all that kind of stuff. But what it says, and it says just great things about Washington, is that, the citizens, they said that that's what they were gonna do. They did it, and now they wanna do more, and they're telling us what they wanna do with more. And it just speaks volumes for really how wonderful our community is and how respected it is by our citizens.
Yeah.
And for both of those taxes to pass at the margin they did was really pretty cool, and the transportation one meant that we proved ourselves, let's say that, and the citizens recognized it. So it was
And
fun.
that's important for MoDOT to recognize the fact that we reclassed an issue that originally was to build 4 lanes on, or added lanes to Highway 100. That was the first reason we did it, and now it's grown to
Yeah.
taking care of the city streets and all of our streets.
And throughout that time, our city has grown, so our sales tax has grown, and, you know, we were able to do more, and now we continue to do more, so.
And quite honestly, I always, whenever there's a discussion about it, I said, can you imagine Washington without the $80 million that came in, or $40 million that came in from that sales tax, that tax on
That
that?
wouldn't be what it is today.
It wouldn't be what it is today, all right? $40 million, and now we've approved it for another 6, 7, how many years?
Well, 8 years for
8 years.
capital improvement, but the
20
transportation was
years.
for
20 years.
20, so
That
we're good.
speaks
We can be,
volume.
we can keep having these meetings, so, anyway, because we'll have stuff to talk about.
It has to, yes, it speaks volumes. Team Track.
No report?
Charles?
No report.
Someday there's gonna be a company come in here, need that sucker.
Oh, that's always, oh, okay. He said one day there's gonna be somebody that needs it and we're gonna have it. It's used pretty frequently for some, big stuff that can't be hauled across the highways that is being shipped out, and we've shipped some big parts in that have to be used there, so it is being used, and I think it might be time for us to just have a little summary, from you guys, not a big report or anything, and, it doesn't even have to have a lot of discussion in my mind, but I think it is one of the things that Washington offers that not everybody has.
Exactly. I drove down there just once in a while, just to remind myself of, that used to be the dumping ground for all the sewage. It was for the Washington, that was the drain field or whatever right there, and it scraped it all out. And, anyway, that's another project. Any public transportation, none of the people here for public, yes, they are. Hi, good morning.
You missed.
Hiller's here.
Oh, I missed one. East-West Parkway, okay, go ahead, we'll get that one. Good morning.
Hello and good morning, everybody. It's so good to see you. I just want to start by saying Easy Mo is actually not operating today in either county. Aside from me being here today, Easy Mo will actually not be operating just due to the severe weather forecast for today, just because our first priority is, while we want to make sure we give as many trips as possible, we want to ensure safety is our number one concern. So I had a whole update for you guys, but I wanted to start there, just in case you're like, I haven't seen any of those cars out and about today later on. That's why. We're going to be making a Facebook post as well. That's actually what I was working on back there, just to kind of let everybody know, just for today, there will be no rides being given by Easy Mo. So first and foremost, and also make sure everybody stays safe out there today. Going forward, if you've ever wondered what 45 volunteers can actually do in a community, let me give you a real quick snapshot. From July 1 of 2025 through March 31st of 2026, Easy Mo has served 1,108 unique and unduplicated clients, delivering more than 9,453 trips, and that equals that we have driven across 108,682 miles across both Jefferson and Franklin counties, all powered by those 45 volunteers. This is the part I like to pause on when I talk about these stats. Our number one trip purpose continues to be employment. So when we talk about transportation, we're not just talking about rides, we're talking about people getting to work, keeping their jobs, and staying self-sufficient. Now that those 45 volunteers that I had mentioned earlier, that's about where we've been sitting since the end of 2025. Meanwhile, the number of people needing rides continues to grow every single month. Remember that 30% I talked about last year? We continue to stay strong in a 30% ridership growth month over month while maintaining the same 45 volunteers. That math isn't exactly mathing in our favor right now, and that's why we're continuing to push hard for more volunteers, especially right here in Franklin County. Just as a reminder, our drivers use their own vehicles and are reimbursed at the IRS rate, which at the beginning of 2026 raised to 0.725 per mile, and that reimbursement is non-taxable income. So for many, especially those on fixed incomes, this is a meaningful way to give back while also supporting themselves. But I never like to end on numbers alone, because the real story is always the people we serve. We recently heard from a 69-year-old woman from right here in Franklin County who uses Easy Mode to get to her physical therapy. I know I just talked about employment, and now I'm making the switch to transport or medical, but she shared that this service has allowed her to stay independent, and in her words, lets my children keeps their job without feeling guilty about not being able to take me anywhere. She talked about how our drivers are patient, how they give her space to do what she can on her own, but step in when she needs help. And now that that balance has been given to her, a level of freedom she didn't have before has been restored. And to me, that's the heart of what it all. The data shows that we're making an impact, but those stories remind us of what kind of impact it is. So if you take away anything from my update today, it's that I hope we're doing a lot with a little, but with a few more volunteers, we can continue to do more. So please make sure you're reminding everyone to search www.jfcac.org/EasyMo, EZMO, and make sure to sign up to be a volunteer, even if it's just for one day a month. Questions for me?
Great job.
Great.
Community.
Thank you.
Volunteers. Thank you.
Very good.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah.
You bet. Thank you. All right, we gotta go back to the East-West Parkway. I missed that, going through here. Who wants to take that one, the East-West Parkway?
There it says no report.
Report, got it, okay. Half-cent, okay. Half-cent sales tax?
I don't have anything else, really.
Nothing else? Any other business?
I think Darren wanted me to bring up the fact that we do have an upcoming project on Route A, so that will start at the intersection of 47. So just so everybody's aware, that is set for next year. So next. Intersection 100. Oh yes, and it's 47 all day. Yeah, 40. Yes, Route A and 100. That signalized intersection. We will have a project. So I know there is some of the intersections kind of breaking up a little bit. Our maintenance department is keeping a close eye on all of that and everything, but we do have a project coming up next year. So our maintenance department, they'll limp it along as best they can, and then that project will take care of all that.
A lot of traffic goes through there.
Yes, a lot of traffic on 100 and 47. Yes.
Is it just gonna be repair, or will there be expansions or anything like that?
No expansion. No, it's more of a maintaining the system project.
Concrete or just asphalt over it?
That at this time, I don't know that answer, but it'll be a pavement treatment. Yes.
That's key. Yeah, very good. It's on your agenda. Any other
Amazing
business?
how quickly these things pop up.
Need a motion to
So
adjourn?
moved.
You have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? Second. All in favor, aye.
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 Thank you all very much.
Cool. That intersection all the time, and I'm thinking,
Put that back in my place.
that's good to hear, thank you.
It's upcoming.
I love this.
Yeah. I know.